What if I told you that the financial markets aren't just about charts and numbers, but are actually a battlefield? Well, today we're diving into a really fascinating philosophy from a trader named Sullivan, who sees every single price move as a strategic maneuver in an ongoing war. And this quote right here, it just sets the stage perfectly. Sullivan frames the whole market as this raw, primal environment, a jungle where all these different players are in a constant, relentless struggle for survival. So this isn't about math, it's about conflict and strategy. So, if you're going to survive in this jungle, you first need to understand the terrain. Who are the combatants on this battlefield? And what's the fundamental rule of engagement? Sullivan kicks things off with a huge, foundational question. Who is really in control here? If it's a battle, who are the generals leading the charge? And let me tell you, it's not the retail traders or the bulls and bears you might be thinking of. The answer, in this worldview, is the big institutional players, the big boys. But Sullivan gives him this really unique name, the dogs. Now, why dogs? Well, think about it. Dogs are loyal to their commitments. Once they make a decision, they stick to it. And according to this philosophy, that unwavering commitment is exactly what ensures they win in the end. Okay, so if these dogs are running the show, what are they trying to do? What's their ultimate objective on this battlefield? Well, the answer is brutally simple. Their purpose is just to win. And in this game, winning means emptying the pockets of everybody else. It is a total zero-sum game. And this brings us to the fundamental rule of Sullivan's jungle: kill or be killed. I know it's a pretty stark metaphor, but it really hammers home the idea that in this environment, one side's gain is directly another's loss. Now, if you're going to survive on a battlefield like this, you absolutely need an arsenal. But the weapons here, they aren't swords or shields. No. They're specific market concepts, and each one is reframed as a powerful tool of war. So first up is the fortress. In trading terms, this is a price zone where a strong move paused and then just sharply reversed, a rally base drop, for instance. But in this system, it's a defensive stronghold. It's a key location on the map where the big boys made a critical decision in the past, and you better believe it represents a point they will fiercely defend. But here's the thing. A fortress is completely useless without solid ground to stand on, and this is where the concepts of supply and demand come into play. Sullivan sees these not just as zones, but as the very foundation, the actual terrain upon which a fortress is built. And this right here is a crucial distinction. You can have a perfectly formed fortress, a really clear price structure, but if the ground it's built on, that underlying supply or demand is weak, it is destined to crumble. The foundation is just as important, if not more important, than the structure itself. And what happens when a fortress does fall? Well, that's called conquering a castle, or in trading lingo, an engulf. This isn't just another price move. It's a major event in the battle. It signals that a previous defense has totally failed, and the attacking army is pushing forward towards some new, unrealized objective. The psychology of the battle is also visible right there on the chart. Sullivan describes compression as, simply, fear. When the price approaches a fortress slowly, in this kind of grinding, hesitant way, it's like an army that's really nervous about the attack. It's a psychological tell that the defenders of that fortress still command a lot of respect. In this quote, I know it's a bit poetic, but it perfectly captures the psychological weight of these price levels. A fortress isn't just a number. It's a place where we already have seen fighters' failure. The attackers remember past defeats there, and that memory creates the very hesitation we see on the charts as compression. It's brilliant. So, okay, we've got the battlefield, we've got the combatants, and we have the weapons. But how do you actually use all this to read the battle as it's unfolding? This is where all that theory becomes a really practical strategy for interpreting the market's story. It all comes down to asking three simple yet incredibly powerful questions at all times. First, why is the price at this specific location? Is it attacking a fortress? Is it defending one? Second, where did it just come from? Did it just conquer a castle? And third, how did it get here? Did it approach with that fear, that compression, or did it come in with aggressive confidence? When you ask these three questions consistently, it shifts your entire perspective. You stop seeing what looks like random noise, and you start reading the market's narrative, this continuous story of attacks, defenses, victories, and retreats. And all of this leads to the ultimate revelation of this entire philosophy. Because if the market is a story, then maybe maybe it's not chaotic at all. This final section really gets to the core belief but changes absolutely everything. This is the big question, isn't it? It plagues so many traders, especially when they're starting out. Are we just trying to guess what happens next in some fundamentally unpredictable system? Well, according to this philosophy, the answer is a definitive no. And here it is, the core belief, which Sullivan credits to a mentor figure known only as Great If. And the idea is profound. There is absolute order in the market. Nothing at all there happens by chance. There is zero chaos in the market. It's elegantly designed, a beauty to behold. So, the crucial takeaway is this. The goal isn't to get better at gambling or predicting random events. The real goal is to become a student of this elegant design, to learn the rules of the battlefield, to understand the logic of the big boys, and to see the order that's hiding just beneath all that surface-level noise. And that leaves us with one final thought. If the market isn't chaos, if it's a story, a battle with rules and reasons, what story is it telling you on your charts right now? Go take a look. You might just see something entirely new.